It's called licenses.
Okay.
Tuesday morning I come to my senses. I go down to the office that allocates licenses. I say I want a license. The lady behind the counter reaches down to fetch a locked box from under a shelf. She re-emerges, adjusts herself, removes the lid and urges me to consider its contents. She says, "Which one do you want?" That's North Wales, you see, I'm South Wales. She says, "Which one do you want?" I say, "Show me one that says license in a nice sans serif font." I sense a little tension. Then she says, "I've got a pilot's license, a wireless license, an ultraviolet license, a license to... an ultraviolet license, a license to suffer in silence, a license to suffer in Spanish, a license to vanish, a license to varnish, a license to harness the energy of a toddler's tantrum to power your car, a license to marry, a license to carry on as you are, a license to carry on as your mum, a license to fart out your bum, a license to start a religion, a license to startle a pigeon, a license to show the film Bridge on the River Kwai, a license to drop a fridge on Jamiroquai, a license to buy a telly, a license to fly a helicopter." I stopped her right there. I said, "What I want is a license that lets me do anything I care to. A nice and simple license that lets me do what I like, when I like, where I like, with whom I like. Assume I like the merchandise. I'll make it worth it if it fits." She looks me in the eyes and says, "This is licenses. You want birth certificates." Thank you. Or gravity be thy name. This immediately sounds odd coming from an atheist, but it turns out inexpediently God does exist. Not the God or a God or your God. No, more like, oh, my cognitive dissonance. Gravity's attraction has matched my resistance. My God rocks, it ticks all the boxes. It's what scientifically, undeniably, irrefutably, indisputably created the universe in its entirety. Every sun and planet and galaxy, everything on it, and that includes you and me. My God is gravity. My God rocks, it ticks all the boxes. Omnipresent, invisible, untouchable, intangible. There's no enigma bigger or more magical. You cannot smell it, you cannot hear it, you can't reason why, you cannot deny it, but you'll always rely on its ubiquitous pull. Without gravity, we'd all scatter away to infinity and unravel into our constituent molecules. My God stays grounded. My God is cool. The only rules are, there aren't any rules. About evil and good, you do what you should, and you'll only live once with resultant exultance. My God rocks, it ticks all the boxes. Except for the one about squandering approximately most of your life, thanking and praising and praying and wailing and worshipping and all that devotion and sacrifice, and all your life bowing, exalting and glorifying, and even more terrifyingly absurd, spreading the word. There's no one I abhor more than word spreaders on a mission to knock on my door. Of all those responsible for waging war, top of my list is the evangelist. So fuck off and go and find a God of your own. Some insecure psychopath sat on a throne, all jealous and needy, won't leave you alone and relentlessly peeved and not being believed in. My God wants for nothing except to be known as the cause of creation, the glue of the universal space-time continuum. There's nothing here airy, fairy or mystical, superstitious or supernatural. This God is seriously empirical. So, lest you rather palaver with theory and claim, our Father, who art in heaven, gravity be thy name.